Okay, I'm gonna try to make this quick, as quick as possible. I'm a huge fan of Mumford and Sons, and I've been for a very long time. And I don't just listen to their music or watch them playing live. I watch every interview I can get my hands on, and read every interview I can get my hands on. 2021, Marcus Mumford makes a video about Gaza because it was getting bombed. He says that he works with a charity called War Child, and that he visited Gaza a couple times and met kids there, and saw that the charity helps them with like psychotherapy and stuff because they have a lot of PTSD symptoms. And he talks about, he says that he thinks about the kids that he met when things like this are happening. Things like this meaning 2021 when it was getting bombed. Marcus Mumford also tells a story a bunch of times about a woman he met who tells him, "When you listen to my story, you give dignity to my humanity." And he's talked about Gaza before, and then he this time he hasn't said a single thing. A few weeks ago, he shares an article on Instagram, and it's an article about a guy who his mother got killed, and she was a peace activist, and he's trying to continue what she started. It is commendable. It is an incredible story. I get that. Just like the story of the woman who told him, "When you listen to my story, you give dignity to my humanity." I just don't understand why you don't want to share stories about people, or the ones who are actually suffering, the actual victims, the one you seem to care about. What about their humanity? What about sharing their stories to give dignity to their humanity? How is that the one you want to share? If anybody wants to hear a story like that, maybe, after they've listened to the millions of stories of the people who are suffering first, the ones who are imprisoned and being bombed, the actual victims, the ones who never stood a chance, the ones who have experienced every trauma in the book. There's a video of a psychiatrist like a few months ago. She was talking about how sometimes they teach kids methods to self-soothe when they've been through something traumatic, and one of those methods is to hug themselves. And she said that she was in Gaza, and there were kids who lost both arms, and so they couldn't even do that. And kids get kidnapped and put in prison, and they experience some traumas that I just, a couple of years ago, late 2022, he puts out a solo album. He talks about why it's a solo album, what he talks about in the songs, or what the songs are about. It becomes kind of more clear why he cares about kids who've been through something traumatic. I wouldn't have expected anything. I wouldn't have been so incredibly crushed and disappointed if it wasn't for the fact that he did say something before. And there was at a time when nobody cared. I don't understand how you could care then and not care now. I don't understand how, when you eventually say something, I don't understand how that's the story you want to share. It's not about them. How is that the story you want to share? I mean, you keep talking about the lady who told you, "If you listen to my story, you give dignity to my humanity." And the thing is, people who never ever cared started caring, because they saw how horrific it is, and learned that it's always been pretty fucking bad, and that people who never cared before started caring. You said that you cared, and then you never said anything about this. And then when you decided to say something, it's not even about the people who are suffering. You're not trying to give dignity to their humanity. Speaking up matters, and it's not gonna stop anything, but it does matter. And if he didn't think it mattered, he wouldn't have said anything the first time. But why is he not saying anything this time? I mean, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't care anymore. It's soul crushing. It is insanely disappointing.